So why do people hate trading on Fridays? What is this volume everybody talks about? If you guys don't know Friday trading or wonder why people don't like to trade on Friday, I'll break it down for you guys today on the Market Open Recap. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. I do recaps basically every single day that I trade. I also do lessons for you guys completely for free. So yeah, definitely consider subscribing if you guys are new. So let's talk about Friday trading a little bit. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard people complain about Fridays or volume and things like that, or maybe that they lose a lot on Fridays. There's definitely a reason for that. Friday trading, I typically like to think that a lot of traders they're just lazy. I mean, if they can, they'll make their money and leave. Which is basically what happens on Fridays. We have most of the holidays off, the market's closed, or certain times of the day or certain times of the year, people will take off early. Friday being one of those times, or holiday seasons always like that as well. So Fridays, typically people like to go in the market, especially retail traders, not so much institutions and things like that, because obviously they still have to work, all that stuff, which they do make up a lot of the market. They make up about 80% of the market, but a lot of that is typically computers. There's not as many human traders as you would think. But typically, most of the volume takes place during the first 30 minutes or an hour block of Friday mornings. I typically like to be out of the market within the first 30 minutes on Fridays, especially. So VIRT is actually one of the plays that was this morning. And actually, I'll show it to you guys on basically every single one. You'll see that the volume kind of comes in here for the first 30 minutes or so, and then after that, it just kind of dwindles down to probably under 130,000 shares being traded for the rest of the day, and it just kind of keeps going lower and lower and lower. Same thing with, let's see here, TTD. TTD, you can see that the spike in volume here, and it just dwindles down to nothing. What was another play? SYMC. SYMC was one of the big, it took a big hit today. So you can see here, same thing within the first 30 minutes or so. What is this, 45 minutes? And after that, it just starts going downhill. The volume starts drying up. So the volume, if you guys don't know what it is, volume is basically the shares that are being bought and sold. So if you're looking at something that's under, let's just say the volume for the stock is, let's bring this up, SYMC. So the volume for the stock today it's telling us that there were 112 million shares being traded today. So that means that they were either being bought or sold. So that's what volume means. Volume is just the shares being bought and sold. So typically on Fridays, traders like to take off early, so they'll take their profits and just basically leave. So that's actually what I did today as well. Actually, I had a couple of other things to do. I had some family in town, so definitely took off. Now, let's talk about the first trade I took this morning, VIRT. Now, if I knew the way that this was going to move beforehand, I probably wouldn't have taken it. Although I did end up making a little bit of money off of it. But VIRT was gapping down this morning. I believe they said they put out a press release, something about an offering. And typically that drives the stock price down, not by a lot, but typically enough for you to get your 1-to-1, sometimes 2-to-1. And it usually ends up working. I mean, it basically, it was very close to what I wanted it to do, but it was such a 5-cent ticker, and it just kind of kept chopping back and forth. The volume on VIRT is 29 million. So, which is kind of rare for something that low float to trade like this. It's very, very blocky. So I took 600 shares short this morning at 28.65. I'll show it to you guys as I saw it. I took it here on the 1-minute chart. So right here under this consolidation, I wanted to go ahead and take it short at 28.70. So, but unfortunately, I got filled down here at 28.65. I really should have anticipated this move, unfortunately, but I didn't. It would have been a lot better. My stop was actually going to be up here at 29, And but unfortunately, I ended up getting it short down here at 28.65. I figured, whatever. I'm down here at lows and it broke, so it should start heading down that way. Now, as I kind of kept going sideways, it actually spiked back up to 29. My stop was 29.05. So since it's a 5-cent ticker, you have to put it above the whole number. So I would have lost more than I initially was wagering, really, because I got a late fill and it's 5 cents higher instead of 1 cent higher. But that's actually really good that you know where to put your stop. I wanted to put it over the whole number, not at the whole number. So that definitely saved me in this instance. I think I was down $210 when it was up here, and I definitely thought it was going to kick me out a few times, but it actually did not, and it actually ended up coming back down. Now, VIRT at that point, I was like, okay, well, if it breaks back down, I'm not going to be able to take too much out of it. I think since it hit 28.55 and then it hit 28.60, it's gradually coming a little bit higher. So to me, that wasn't a very good sign. So I actually ended up holding it for a little longer. I got out right at 9.58. So this went sideways for a little bit. So right around here. So 28 or at 9.58, I got out right at 28.60. Ended up making $30. So I was wagering about $220 on that. So getting $30 out of that is absolutely nothing. But it's better than being red on it. So I went ahead and actually got out. I just did not like the price action on this. But if I actually zoom out, you'll see here. Actually, hold on. Let's do it on the 1 minute here. So you'll actually see that it came down here to the 28.35. So right after I sold it, unfortunately, it came down to 28.35. I could have taken my partial then, could have waited another 10-15 seconds, but that's hindsight. Hindsight's 20/20 always. You could have made more money. Doesn't always work out your way. Whatever, not a big deal. At least I didn't lose money on it. But this actually makes me feel better because it actually ended up heading higher. So it would have kicked me out. I would have lost the initial amount. My instinct on that was correct. I just did not like the price action on that, so I went ahead and got out. So that's kind of where the art form of trading kind of comes in. I guess maybe instincts or something like that, because anybody can trade like a robot. If A, B, C, and D happens, then you should do this. Or if D, E, and F happens, you should do this. But whenever the art form comes into it of you feeling of how the price action is moving and how the level 2 is reading, you're not really quite comfortable with it. A computer can't really quite make that decision for you. So that's where that comes in, and being a retail trader, when you can just get out when you don't feel comfortable, you don't like the price action or anything like that. So that definitely worked out in my favor, VIRT. Now, NVIDIA was my next short. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, being a higher name price, is actually gapping down this morning as well. Hold on one second. Wrong day. It was gapping down a little bit this morning. Now, if you notice, it actually ended up ending higher. So right here, I was actually pretty quick on taking the profit. So it was only 75 shares that it took short right here at 253.30. Now let me show it to you guys. So if you guys will see this consolidation right off the bat, it just kind of started going sideways. If it broke up and over the highs, I actually initially had a buy order for anything over 255.50, but then I noticed it actually started coming down, so it started giving up on the highs. So as it broke down below, down here, 253.30, down here, I actually went ahead and got short, and with my stop, I believe it was over 255 over the whole number. So I got short, and then I actually ended up covering near the bottom. So you'll see here this triple bounce again, but I actually covered it right at 9:43. So a couple minutes later, so right here in this candle, I covered it at 251.29. So right over here. Now, earlier in this week, I talked about a triple bounce. It's just a theory or something that I've been seeing a lot lately. You guys will notice that this basically did exactly the same thing. It just bounced, 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 and then it started heading higher. So I would have lost the whole amount basically, because it would have gone higher and higher and higher. Now, I think at this point I probably would have gotten out since I just talked about it. I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday about this triple bounce. So if you see something like this on a 1 minute chart, you might want to consider start lightening up your load or start getting out of the position completely. Now, with the 75 shares, I was actually only risking about $100. So it was about $1.50 that I was risking on that. If you see here, NVIDIA, with only 75 shares, I was able to get $150 out of it. And so I got 1.5 to 1 out of that. And I didn't take a partial on that because it was such a small amount of shares. It was only 75 shares. I mean, I guess I could have taken 55 and just let the rest ride, but to me it really wasn't worth it at that point, although I would have gotten out here after this triple bounce. So I was happy with $150 out of NVIDIA, and then the next trade I took was on TTD. So TTD actually being it was my main candidate for a long. Which I was just talking about having your stop in the right spot. Kind of seems a little hypocritical now that I come back and look at this thing. Because I saw TTD here, it came up, it pulled back to the moving average, and now I believe I took it on the 5 minute. So I took this on the 5 minute here, and looking at this, I said, okay, anything over 70, I'm going to go ahead and get in long, and my stop will be 69, $1 stop. Cool. I actually only ended up getting 75 shares, and I got filled right here in this candle, so right at 946. So right here in this candle. Now, what ended up happening is as soon as it hit 70, it just spiked, and it just went. And I had a market order set out because I was looking at the time and sales, but it had just hopped, skipped, and jumped all the way up there. So 75 shares, stop was going to be 69. Now, so I got filled at 70.40. So now I was risking $1.40, and I was going to set my stop at 69. Now, so you'll see what actually ended up happening is, unfortunately, I actually ended up going back to the 1 minute chart to try and pick a better exit because I got such a bad fill on that. So now, as I saw this, to me, this looked like a lower high. Lower high, I'm like, oh crap, this is not good. To me, I really, if I was to go short on this, let's just say that this was hypothetically was a short candidate. To me, probably somewhere around here, I would feel like it would give up on the highs or on the lower high and just start tanking. Because look at this 5 minute candle here. So it went up, it got rejected. Now this tried to go up and above, and it got rejected. Now look at all these candles here. High wick, high wick, high wick. So to me, anything under this, the 69.32, was a possible short if per se this was a short. This to me looks like it would basically give up in that instance. So next candle, I got kicked out. Ended up losing the $93 on that. But if you'll see here, it actually ended up coming back up and over, hitting my target, and then some. So this actually ended up working in my favor if I would have just kept my stop. Now, to me, I'd rather be safe than sorry, especially having a bad fill, having a lower high. And it's just one of those instances where, unfortunately, I ended up losing the $93. I could have stayed with my stop. The whole number could have protected me. It could have really have gone either way. But to me, the odds really weren't in my favor at that point because of this rejection on the 5 minute candle. Because it goes up and it sells off, that means that there's a lot of sellers sitting up there. So, unfortunately, I got scared off out of that one and I got kicked out. So that was actually my only loss for the day. Ended up making $87 on the day, which is, better than being red. It is my 5th green day in a row, so hopefully we'll continue that on Monday. But yeah, so hopefully you guys learned something from this, especially what I talked about earlier about volume drying up very, very quickly on Fridays. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comment section. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have not joined us yet on their Facebook group, make sure to do that. The link will be down in the description below, where I post my watch list for you guys every single day. Lastly, if you guys are curious on how I learned how to trade, I provided you guys with a discount code in the description. It comes with one-on-one mentoring, classes, and buying power. So make sure to take advantage of that. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.